So, again, welcome on what is a sunny but very, very cold Monday lunchtime. So I hope that you are a little bit more cozy in front of your laptop today. We are going to be talking about the digital skills revolution and empowering young people for the future. We are the Digital Poverty Alliance here, and we're delighted to have Polly from IDEA. The DPA, if you've not come across us before, was set up during the pandemic as part of the Learning Foundation, a charity with over 20 years history working to get technology to children. But our mission is to end digital poverty once and for all within the UK by 2030. And this is around all aspects of digital poverty, whether that is devices, connectivity, or whether we start to look at skills and support and the accessibility of services. And we do this both through advocacy and also delivery of real life projects, helping real life people. The work that Polly does is absolutely amazing, and I'm really delighted that she's going to talk us through a little bit of what IDEA does today, because it really is breaking down so many of those barriers that people face when they come online for the first time. Polly, could you introduce yourself?
Thanks, Elizabeth. Hi, everyone. So I'm Polly, as Elizabeth says. My role is CEO of IDEA Foundation, and IDEA Foundation is the charity that runs idea.org.uk, which is a free website for anyone who'd like to gain digital and enterprise knowledge, skills, and confidence. I think I'm going to leave my introduction there because I'm aware we're going to go through some questions, and I'm going to talk much more about what IDEA is and how it works and what we're doing over the course of the next about 55 minutes, I think. So, yeah.
Fantastic. If you're watching here live today, do say who you are in the chat. We'd love to know what organisation you represent, where geographically, whereabouts you are. So do say hello. We also, down at the bottom of the screen, there's a little Q&A button. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask Polly, we will try to come to those at the end. Don't be shy, don't hold back. We'd love to get a bit of audience interaction going on during these sessions. So, Polly, you are a leader in the field of digital education. I'm a huge fan of everything IDEA does. How do you see the role of technology evolving in shaping the future of learning? And how are you adapting IDEA to some of those changes?
Thanks, Elizabeth. Some of the key ways that I see that tech is influencing the future of learning are, so we have the gamification of learning, and what that's enabling is, it's not just basic old boring e-learning that we knew it was a few years ago. So it's not just paper behind glass. And actually, I think technology and digital education is allowing us to use game elements to make learning way more enjoyable and interactive. And we find at IDEA, and I'm sure at others all over the place will find that actually that enjoyability and interactivity really helps to increase motivation and engagement. And then the more engaged a learner is, the more they benefit. One of the other things that I think is really, really key about technology in the context of education is that obviously we can't forget about AI and the personalization of learning. So obviously AI can analyze individual learning patterns and preferences and provide tailored content and assessments that can meet each student's needs. And that's really, really exciting and could be super powerful. The personalization like this can help students to learn at their own pace, can help to reinforce concepts that they find challenging, and can help them progress more quickly through things that they get more easily, so that the time is best spent helping them in the way most needed to them. IDEA itself is not an AI platform, but actually Century Tech is a really, really great example of this. I'm sure you, Elizabeth, know about them, and others who are in the chat and on the call today will too. But on IDEA, we allow learners to choose which badges they want to work on and in what order. We have metadata and tags and categories for our badges or our modules, which help link some related content together. And so we're exploring adding in some badge pathways and curated journeys that can help learners who do prefer more guidance. I think, again, I'd be remiss not to mention ChatGPT and Bard and other generative AI tools and things that we have available to us now. And I think in many ways, they are so helpful for learning, and it's very empowering and very easy now for individuals to ask questions and be curious about new topics and get answers from it. But of course, where we see the challenges are around the fact that these models can come up with hallucinations. And so we need to focus more on how we can make sure that people today are able to make best use of those tools, and how we can employ critical thinking and things to better understand, what really is the truth, before we just kind of say, oh, well, ChatGPT said this, therefore it's true. I think another thing that I was hearing a lot more about at the end of last year, really, and so far at the beginning of this year, has been virtual and augmented reality technologies that are being more and more integrated into educational experiences, which in many ways for many people is really transformational, and it can create a really immersive and engaging learning environment, which can be really beneficial as well for some vocational training, and where hands-on experience is crucial. But of course, it's not suitable for all learners. Myself, I've had a go with some of these things. I actually find that makes me feel quite nauseous, as much as it's really amazing. And so that's something to be aware of. I don't know whether they'll be able to overcome that. Hopefully they can. But yeah, on IDEA, we've not got badges on IDEA that require headsets and things. But we do have some content that teaches people about how the technology behind it works. So like about how VR works and how AR works. So yeah, but I don't think that's going to be going away anywhere anytime soon. Something that's really key, and again comes through AI and the way that things have been growing with tech lately, is the learning analytics and data-driven insights that actually can provide educators and people who run programs like IDEA with really valuable information about student performance, engagement, and learning patterns. And the data can be used to identify areas where students may need additional support. It also means that educators could benefit from more support and training themselves in data analytics. So I think, as with all things, we need to be curious and reskilling and thinking about how we can evolve to make the most of all of this for each other. So yeah, on IDEA, learner progress can be shared with educators, and we'll be spending more time ourselves behind the scenes collecting insights from the data that we have to see how we can do things better and make better experiences for our learners. Yeah, I think again, as we know, and as you know and have talked about a lot, Elizabeth, technology really has the potential to make educational material and resources more inclusive. And by providing accessibility features such as text-to-speech, speech-to-text, and other assistive technologies that can help ensure that learning resources are accessible to everyone. So yeah, at IDEA, we recognise the opportunity that these technologies offer us, and we're looking into particularly how we can retrofit some of these tools into some of our older content, because we want to do more to make our content even more inclusive. But yeah, I think, really more and more technology is being used in education, and I think this is a really great thing for a lot of people. And I think digital education really has the potential to reach, inspire, and positively impact so many people. The pace of technological change, as we know, as we've seen, is so fast, whereas generally the speed at which people are educated is not. So there is this disconnect, and there is a growing gap that we need to bridge. And that's one of the reasons why IDEA exists, and why we work with organisations like the DPA. We're here to help people gain digital and enterprise knowledge, skills, and confidence.
And I mean, I think that's one of the things that I love so much about IDEA, is the ability that whatever the gap is that somebody faces and whatever level they're at, there's always something on the platform that's going to be incredibly helpful for them. Could you maybe elaborate a little bit on some of the key features of IDEA and its online challenges, and how these really do equip individuals with those, I think you said digital enterprise and employability skills.
Yes. Thanks, Elizabeth. I'm thinking actually that it might be a sensible time for me, if nobody minds, to just share my screen briefly, and I'll show you the IDEA platform, because those that haven't been on IDEA before or haven't got accounts to log in, they might not have seen it before. So sorry, if you mind just bearing with me for one moment while I pull it up. This is it now, so I'm in. So yeah, what we do is IDEA. This website here is a free website. It's for anyone that wants to gain digital and enterprise knowledge, skills and confidence. And what we're doing is we're working with industry experts and some really innovative employers to create some bite-sized and on-demand learning modules. And actually there are almost 100 modules now available on IDEA, and we cover a really wide range of topics, as you kindly said, Elizabeth. So here you can see, I'm just going to move, sorry, I've got some of these Zoom tools in the way of my screen. Here we go. So you can see here, this is my profile, and you can see that what we do is we split our content across here 4 core categories. So we have citizen, worker, maker, entrepreneur. And some of the content that we have in the citizen category is available under here, these blue modules. So we call each of them badges, because how it works is as soon as you complete the learning content behind one of these modules, so for example, this one on GDPR, what you do is you earn points and you earn a digital badge for each one. So in the citizen category, you can learn about things like digital ethics and staying safe online, and GDPR, as you can see here. We've got something on fake news. This has been a really, really popular badge on IDEA. And yeah, all of our badges, what happens is you click into them from here. This one, you can see it says resume because I must have left that one partway through. So your progress is saved, and you can stop and start at any time. You just need to create an account, and it's, as I say, it's free to create an account. We also have content that sits in the worker category. So our worker badges tend to cover things about digital careers, and there's some tools and techniques that are useful in the workplace, as well as things like interview prep. Here, actually, if I may just draw, because I talked about AI a minute ago, we have been working with Intel over the past couple of years now to create modules all about AI skills. So they've got a mission to empower, I think it's 30 million people with AI skills by 2030. And that's a really brilliant objective to have. So we've been working with them to create some bite-sized learning content to help open up access to AI skills. So you'll find this one, What is AI, and 5 others all available as well within the platform. If I come back here to look at our maker badges, you can see maker is creative, and so the topics covered here tend to include things like graphic design, animation and colours. And actually you can see also here there's a badge that we have on virtual reality, as I mentioned earlier, and there's video editing. And then with our entrepreneur badges, we cover things like growth mindset, growth marketing, advertising, big data. There's even one on blockchain in here, which is really interesting. It's a good introduction if you're not quite sure what that's all about just yet. So yeah, these are just some of the opportunities that people have got to learn on IDEA. When you complete one of these modules or digital badges, as I said, you're awarded points and a digital badge. And actually we have a record of achievement on IDEA as well, which they go on to. I'm just going to see if I download it. Yes, hoped it would do it in this window. So you can see here, this essentially is like a transcript of all of the things that I've done on IDEA. And I can add this to my LinkedIn profile. I can add this to my CV. I can share this with my teacher or whoever I'm working with in whatever environment I'm working with, really. And what's super cool is that this is automatically updated every time I do something new. So if I share the link to my record of achievement, it's unique to me, and I share it with you, Elizabeth, today, tomorrow, you could have a look at it and see which other badges I've done in between time since then. So yeah, I won't take you through the whole thing, but you can see here it puts the badges into the categories. And then in the middle, you have some of the skills tags that are associated with each one. And then there's a date as well as to when I first completed it. So that's a really useful tool. And we found that particularly in learners who may not have done so well in more traditional education settings, that's something that really helps to build that confidence, because it helps build, it's here in front of you, you can see all of your achievements on there, and it's a real confidence builder, and it's helping people to better articulate and showcase what they've been learning. A lot of times as well, the learning is, because this isn't stuff that people are being made to learn about, this is often stuff that people are going off their own back to learn about. So it's a really nice way of being able to demonstrate just how much you've gone above and beyond on your own to do some learning and development. I'll stop sharing the screen, I think, right there.
That is just absolutely amazing, Polly. And I think, more and more people need to be able to demonstrate to employers what they've learned and being able to create that record of achievement. You're not just saying that you've taken a course, you're being able to evidence that. And that's has to be so helpful for people in this kind of ever-evolving digital world. I mean, in your view, how does IDEA and these badges contribute to a digitally inclusive future? What steps are you taking to ensure that this, as incredible free training and accessibility kind of tools, how do you make sure that's reaching a diverse audience?
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. It's so a digitally inclusive future. So for us, one of the things that we're doing is we're trying to grow the reach of IDEA so that we can reach as many people as possible and help them to build confidence and skills, using the resources that we have available on our website. But again, I think a key word for me that you just said is that effective training. So making sure that actually, what does all of this mean? Is it actually effective in doing what we want it to do? So, we work, as I said, with employers and industry experts to identify gaps that they have so that we can make sure that the badges, the content that we have on IDEA is actually really teaching important skills that employers need. And that therefore that helps our learners gain relevant skills. And again, with that recognition that we have on IDEA, we're also really regularly seeking feedback from our learners. We've got a really brilliant community of learners on IDEA now. So they've sent, we do surveys and we do some feedback sessions. We run some focus groups, particularly last year with the support of one of our partners, UFI VocTech Trust, who helped us. I'll come on to it a little bit more, but have helped us to change the way that IDEA works to make it more supportive for organisers. So we would call an educator really an organiser on IDEA, whether it's a teacher, an adult volunteer, or some other kind of facilitator running IDEA within a group. But yeah, so, and then also we have the technology as well behind IDEA, of course, so we can monitor the completion rates of our badges, how long it generally is taking people, if there are sticking points that we need to come back to. So we work, and we have worked, and we continue to work in a really iterative way, learning kind of constantly from the feedback that we're getting from our learners and improving things as and when and where we can. Accessibility, yeah, it's a real key priority for us. We are doing what we can, when we can, and where we can, in the context of being a very small charity dependent on funds. But we made sure that IDEA is a website and not an app, so that it can work across multiple devices and operating systems. And we do ensure compatibility with older operating systems and browsers as well. There's still lots that we want to do. I mentioned earlier, I mentioned earlier about text to speech and speech to text, and looking at other, because again, there's some brilliant tools that are available now. So it's how we can retrofit to some of the older stuff on IDEA, but also going forwards, we've learned more about what we can do and how we can do things better when we're creating new content. And in terms of reaching a diverse audience, so supporting other organisations that are on the ground and working with diverse audiences, we're really focused on engaging with communities and organisations that are there on the ground already, helping to reach individuals who are furthest from opportunity. So this is a real core priority of ours. We know we can't just helicopter in this website and give it to everyone where we want to. And so, we rely on these wonderful partnerships and collaborations with organisations that are already doing something there. One of them, of course, is the DPA, and the work that we did with you guys on the Tech for Prison Leavers project. Yeah, I think that's kind of the story. If anybody is working, who's watching this, who's working with learners who they think could benefit from IDEA, then I would really, really love to hear from you and love to open up a conversation about how it is we can work together and support you.
Fantastic. And actually, I'm just going to pick up a couple of the questions that have appeared in the Q&A. One, whether the platform is free to use, which Will asks, and then also James in Renfrewshire asks, is there or will there be a charge to organisations to roll it out to staff and volunteers and so on? I think it's probably worth just clarifying that now.
Yes, thank you. Hi, James. I think I know who that is. Yes, so the platform is free. It's free for learning. Anybody anywhere can log into IDEA and they can access all of the content that we have on there for free. There's no charge. For organisations, again, there is a free version of IDEA and a portal that enables organisations to register themselves, to register cohorts of learners and to track their progress. But we also have a premium version of that enables a bit more data, more detailed analytics. And that's paid for. It's currently starts at £150, so it's not, I would argue, that expensive. But we really need to raise funds so that we can make sure that we can continue to provide the learning part of IDEA for free.
And IDEA have been absolutely phenomenal in supporting some of the projects that we have delivered, including Tech for Prison Leavers. And actually, this leads sort of really well into the next question around some of the transformative changes that IDEA have made in tutorial support for teachers, for adult volunteers, for organisers. How has that enhanced the overall learning experience?
Yeah. Thanks, Elizabeth. So with many, many huge thanks to our partner, UFI VocTech Trust, last year we really revamped the getting started journey on IDEA. So we would like everybody who facilitates group learning to understand really how they can make the most of our free resources and the platform to help boost the knowledge, skills and confidence of the cohorts of learners that they're supporting. And so now, if you're an organizer or facilitator getting started with IDEA, as part of the initial sign-up process, you'll see there's an option to sign up to register your organization or to continue as just a learner. I should say, if you start off as a learner, it's totally fine. You can later come back and register your organization. But at the beginning, that journey, we've changed it. So as you go through, IDEA, the platform guides you through the process of registering the organization and actually creating your first group, which is what you need to do so that your learners can join your organization. And then we have a quick guide as well, which comes into the platform. It's like sort of like a tutorial, walking you through it step by step to guide you to get you set up in the best way. And then what's really exciting is that then once you as an organizer have successfully then onboarded your first learner, and when they've achieved an IDEA badge, then the organizer gets awarded with their very own IDEA organizer badge. We found that our teachers in particular also love earning digital badges, and they're doing a lot of the content as well themselves for their own learning and development. So it's really nice to be able to award them with a badge for doing the amazing work that they're doing, supporting their cohorts as well. Since doing this, our hypothesis was that if we could better support people that are supporting other people on IDEA, then we would be able to better support our learners. And we've proven that. So we're seeing greater success on IDEA. We're seeing that more badges are being achieved if learners are part of a group on IDEA. And more importantly, the feedback that we've had from the teachers, volunteers, facilitators, the organisers that are using IDEA has been really, really positive in that they feel more confident about using the platform and using it with their groups. And also we've seen in turn less questions about some of the same sticky points in the sign-up process, or challenges that they're going through. So it's helped us as well, because it's meant our support desk has got less of the same questions to help people with. But yeah, it's been really, really, really good, and I'm so grateful that to UFI that we were able to make some of those changes last year, and I'm looking forward to seeing the positive impact of that continue to grow throughout this next year now as well, in 2024.
Incredible. And I mean, just coincidentally, we are launching our Tech for Teachers report tomorrow, and I think that really sort of highlights, yes, you know, people of all ages are crying out for some of the support, and actually just to be able to upskill and to help other people to learn digital skills, which I'm sure many of us have had that experience of trying to pass on digital skills, but how do you do that in a way that's actually genuinely really helpful? And just remind me, what's the age range of people who use IDEA? Something incredible.
So yeah, it's the youngest person to achieve the Bronze Award on IDEA. So in order to get the Bronze Award, you need to complete, it's about 28 of our digital badges. So the youngest person to have done that was 8 years old at the time when they did that. And actually the eldest person, which I'm most excited about, was 93 when they achieved the Bronze Award. The real majority of our learners, you know, are sort of in secondary school going into college kind of age range. So they are sort of 14 to 16. And that is because during lockdown, we just had such a huge surge of secondary schools that started onboarding their students with IDEA, and we're delighted to be able to support them all. But yeah, there's no age limit. Anybody of any age is welcome.
Incredible. And you've talked a little bit about the badges. You've shown us those on the system, and you describe those as keys to unlocking potential and indeed gaining industry recognized awards, as you've explained. How do you feel these badges sort of make a tangible impact in setting individuals apart in what is an ever more competitive job market?
Yeah, so by earning micro credentials or badges and our awards or certificates through IDEA, what individuals can do is they gain recognition for their digital and enterprise skills and competencies, which they can showcase using the record of achievement that I showed you earlier and their certificates to help them to stand out in what is a very competitive job market. I think also it's it can be different for different people, of course. So some people find that through doing the badges, actually they discover they might not quite be there at that stage where they're looking for jobs, right? But they discover opportunities that they might never have thought about before, and their aspirations change. And people who might not have considered careers in digital or tech can see that actually maybe this could be for them. I think so often we can be held back by our own limiting beliefs. And truly one of the most important parts of IDEA is the I, which stands for inspiring. I think just to add on as well is that IDEA, it's becoming more widely recognized by employers as well. And that has been brilliant, because not only does it help us in terms of fundraising for IDEA, in terms of working with employers to create impactful content for our learners to engage with, but it also means that our learners, their achievements with IDEA are more widely recognised. So to give you an example, we've got a growing number of employers are using IDEA to help upskill their workforces. Some of them have been embedding IDEA into their apprenticeships programs, and others, including Nationwide Building Society, who are a brilliant partner of ours, have embedded IDEA into their learning and development program for all colleagues. And Nationwide have seen, this isn't the exact quote because I'm going off the top of my head now from memory, but one of the key successes that they've found from IDEA is that it's helped their colleagues have better digital conversations with their customers. So particularly they're using it to support their in-branch staff as well, who are really at the front line of supporting potentially some of their more digitally excluded customers.
And I mean, we we endlessly advocate for, it's particularly within the financial services sort of industry, actually, you have so much opportunity for people who are talking to customers to be able to enthuse about digital skills. And I think actually, just sort of on a very personal level, this is not the view of the GPA, but I think Nationwide must be a fantastic partner to be working with, because they have those branches still, but it's very much a kind of catalyst to help people to understand some of the benefits of using digital without necessarily sort of pushing people towards it too firmly. And I mean, it's sort of starting to think about some of that real world impact of the platform. Do you have any sort of amazing success stories or notable achievements of some of the people who've used this and what it's meant to them?
So actually just before the Christmas break, I had a really fantastic meeting with a young man and his cousin Anna. So Harry and Anna, they first got started with IDEA at school when they were 14. And they're now at college, and they were so inspired by IDEA that they have actually now launched their own website, which is brilliant, and people should have a look at it. It's called Mission Encodable. And what their mission is all about helping other people to learn digital skills, and primarily Python. So they're helping people to learn Python. And I really, really want to see what more we can do to support Harry and Anna. But they are just real gems, and I think what they're doing is fantastic and amazing, and we couldn't be more proud that part of their story is that they were inspired by IDEA, and they learned what they learned on IDEA, which has enabled them to go onwards, with help of others, of course, to do what they're doing now. I also recently learned about someone whose work coach told them about IDEA whilst they were looking for employment. And so they got started with IDEA. There was a brilliant initiative where DWP were able to provide a small amount of extra money to help people with their training. So they used it to buy data for their mobiles. And with that data, they were able to say, well, we were learning with IDEA, because of course, our platform is free, but connectivity and the devices, they are not. So that was really, really interesting that they were able to support people in that way. But actually, it helped inspire this person to set up their own shop online. And they've been selling their knitted scarves and hats and things over the Christmas period, which is really, really great. And another lovely lady wrote to us, actually a slight depart from kind of general education and jobs, but it was still really, really important, because she wrote to us to tell us how much she enjoyed using IDEA and how it was helping with her chemo brain. And so actually it was giving her something really positive and thoughtful to do during what is a really challenging time in her life. And I think I'm just coming up with the people that we've been hearing from recently, but I never ever get surprised I never stop being surprised by the kind of reach and breadth of what we're doing, because I think it's really easy to start thinking, oh, there's a particular type of person that benefits from a solution like this, and it's this person, or these 3 different types of people. But actually it's so open, and a really lovely story as well. Sorry, Elizabeth, I don't know how many you wanted from me.
No, we love hearing these kinds of stories.
I'll do one more, because Rian and Biaz are 2 sisters, and they're actually the first people in Bangladesh to achieve the IDEA Bronze and Silver Awards. And it was really exciting because they made the news, and then they have gone on to inspire more young women in Bangladesh to engage with STEM subjects. And that's really, really exciting. And that's also something that we've heard from teachers here in the UK, particularly at secondary schools, where we know that young girls, young women are not taking on computer science and STEM subjects as much as their male counterparts. And we've heard a few times now, several times, from teachers that have used IDEA, have said actually they're seeing that this is helping to increase the engagement between the young girls that they're supporting, and particularly computer science, but other STEM subjects as well. I'll leave it there, Elizabeth, for now.
I'm endlessly just blown away. And I mean, I think it's incredibly important what you pick up there around it's not just one kind of person, because I think it is in the sort of digital poverty conversation, it's very easy, as you say, to get caught into, well, who's the main group it impacts, or thinking about purely education and employment, which are so important during somebody's lifetime. But actually, there's so much more to it. There's the entertainment, there's the information, there's the inspiration, there's the social capacity that it builds, and just digital impacts every piece of our lives now, and it's how we communicate with people, and communication is about so much more than purely education and employment. You are part of our national delivery committee, both you personally and IDEA as an organisation.
Proudly.
What role do you see yourselves playing in addressing digital poverty? And how do you feel businesses and government need to get involved in collaborating to support this mission?
So to address digital poverty, we need to ensure that everyone has access to and can effectively use digital technologies, right? And so what we do with IDEA, by providing free opportunities for individuals to enhance their digital skills, our free program is delivered through our website, which, I'll be the first to put my hand up and say this is an obvious limitation, and the irony of that is not lost on us. And that is why we focus on these collaborations, and we make special efforts to engage with communities and organisations such as the DPA, so that we can reach individuals who are most impacted by digital poverty. And we know there's a sort of triangle to come together between providing the access, the connectivity, and the skills. And there's no point in us saying, here's this digital solution to help provide the skills if the person hasn't got the access and the connectivity. So, we were really, really proud to have been working on the Tech for Prison Leavers project with you last year. And I hope we can do many more. I'm really keen to find out more about the teachers, Tech for Teachers as well, and how we can get involved in that. I think, really we can't forget about the humans in all of this, and we need the community partners and the humans to help amplify the impact of our programme, which together with others can play a big part in helping to end digital poverty. So I think collaborations like this have enabled us to provide our resources to several communities in need, including refugees, veterans, justice impacted individuals, as I just mentioned, and underserved school students. So in 2023, we identified almost 500 schools with a high proportion of pupil premium students in England that are already using IDEA. And so we're looking at now how we can reach more schools with high proportion of pupil premium students, and not just in England, to help make sure that they can benefit from IDEA as well, that their students can. It's really thanks to our partners that we as IDEA can respond with agility to evolving learner needs, by launching new badges that help learners develop job relevant skills and enhance personal development and prioritize their overall well-being, through things like learning about how to stay safe online. I think actually that in doing that, that's our part, that's the part that we play, and very, very much want to be a part of the broader community and see how else we can fit in and support others working in the space too.
And of course, you're not just doing that even in the UK. You mentioned the wonderful story of the girls in Bangladesh. How are you gaining this recognition on a global scale? What lessons can other countries be learning from this success? But also, how do you balance that international acclaim while you also really focus in on the kind of needs and challenges within the UK?
Yeah, that's a bit of a tricky question, Elizabeth. IDEA is being used around the world, and last year we reached learners in 200 plus countries. That being said, the majority of IDEA learners are earning their badges in the UK, closely followed by Ireland. And our focus, because we're a UK charity, is the UK. But we don't have any walls or barriers up to prevent anybody from elsewhere coming on and using IDEA. I think, just to your question about how we've managed to gain recognition on a global scale, I think often thanks to some of the partners that we've worked with. And I think I would like to point out that we've not paid for marketing overseas, actually, or here. Really, it's the way that we're reaching people is organic, and fortunately, very fortunately for us, the types of organizations and people working for these organizations that are using IDEA are super, super friendly. Generally, they're all really good people. And they're very open, and they do a lot of the hard work for us, telling others in their networks what they're doing and what's working. And again, as I've said, feeding back to us things that we can improve or what's working really well and things that maybe aren't so much. So I think generally, also it's that reliability. We've been around, not forever and ever, but we've been here for a little while now. We launched the Bronze Award in January 2017 on IDEA, and we're here. People can trust us and people can rely upon us. I think the fact also that we're an independent charity that works with a range of different employers and industry experts and partners, that's something that makes us quite unique. It's not that we're coming from one particular brand that we're trying to sell something else that's related to what we're doing. We're here, we're doing what we're doing because this is the thing that we need to do. This is what we feel is right, and this is the service that we provide. There isn't really, there's no ulterior motive here. It's just, it is what it is. So I think I'm trying to think, sorry, Elizabeth, how do we balance catering to specific needs?
Yeah, very much the sort of needs faced in the UK versus the international side.
Yeah, I think in many ways the needs are not the same, but there are some of the same needs. And so,
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does, yes. Actually, there's a lot of crossover.
There is. And what we do is we are not too narrow in what we're providing on IDEA. And we try to make sure, as I said, there are about 100 different modules now available on IDEA. So we feel there is something for everyone there. And again, as and when the time comes for us to grow more in other countries overseas, I think we would have a similar approach to what we've had in the UK, which is to really get to know the communities on the ground that we want to work with and the employers and understand more about the gaps that they have. And then we can see what is needed to plug those gaps and how we can work together to do that.
And you're trying to do all of that, and you're presumably looking ahead to the next sort of few years. What are some of the future plans and initiatives that you're aiming to take on as you really kind of further this commitment to digital education and digital literacy?
Thanks, Elizabeth. So the overarching goal of the charity, of course, is to deliver social impact through digital skills, access and education. And actually, to date, so I'll start with where we are now, and then I'll go forwards a bit more. So to date, IDEA learners have achieved more than 13.5 million of our digital badges, and we could not be more proud of them and their achievements for doing that. Last year, more than 400,000 people were working on earning IDEA badges, and we worked out that around one badge is achieved every 13 seconds on the platform. We are a really small team, so one of our priorities is looking at what the team needs and how we can grow the team in a way so that we can support more and more people. I've said, one badge is completed every 13 seconds on IDEA. It would be brilliant if we could get to a point where actually we're getting kind of 5 badges completed every 10 seconds on IDEA. So it's really, the plans are to reach more people, to collaborate with partners, to create more content to support our learners. So it's not just, we kind of have to balance the growing, reaching more people, but actually making sure that what we're doing is impactful and helping the people that we already have. And so we're also looking at what happens next after IDEA, which is really exciting. So where are there opportunities with others that we can partner with to say, well, you're somebody that's been through IDEA, you've got your badges, you know, maybe with Intel, you've been really focused on the AI skills and the AI stuff that's on idea, but where are you going to go next? And how can we help you on that next step of the way? I know one of the things, Elizabeth, that was fed back to us after the Tech for Prison Leavers project was that learning with idea had helped them feel more confident and had opened up their eyes and made them feel like they were ready to now take the next step to continue their training or take on another program. So it's looking at where we can join up the dots and help kind of people on their ways, on their journeys, whichever it is that's next. Yeah, again, I mentioned some key accessibility upgrades that we would love to implement if funding allows. So we're really looking for more partners that can help get involved, that can donate, make a grant, help us to keep learning on idea free for everyone forever. Help us to create some really inspiring and impactful learning content that can help our learners make the most of all of the opportunities that digital enables. And help us to reach more people. So if you're an organisation on the ground, as I said earlier, working with a cohort of learners that you think could be interested in what we're doing, could benefit from what we're doing, then please, please, please reach out. We'd love to work with you.
Fantastic. And I think if my maths isn't too far off, that's going to be about 240 badges completed during the course of this hour.
Wow, so, Elizabeth, well done.
Probably even more than that. But yeah, just on very rough estimates. I mean, that is just quite mind-blowing, actually, when you think about it, just how this platform is being used. I know we've got actually quite a few questions, so we'll get through as many as we can in the next few minutes. Some of the people are wondering how they can basically get in touch with IDEA, promote the platform, find out whether their schools and trusts are using it. So just to sort of take that as one question, how do people take that next step?
If you aren't sure if your school or trust is using it, then I would perhaps start by speaking to whoever is an IT lead at your school, because we find that it tends to be there, and see if they're aware of it. But you can always write to us. You can go through the process to start registering your organisation on IDEA. If your organisation is registered already, it will pop up and tell you. It won't prevent you from carrying on, but it will tell you. You can always write to us. So actually, I'd ask Ellie, I think if you can, I'm a little bit between screens here, so I've not got the chat window in front of me. But if anybody would like to, they can please get in touch with me. Ellie could share my email address. That would be great. Or when I find the window, I'll come back and do it. Reach out. If it's just kind of more technical help, we also have an email address, which is support@idea.org.uk, which is monitored by myself as well and the team. So we can get back to you there.
Amazing. And Ellie has shared both of those email addresses in the chat, both to get in touch with Polydirect and also for the support team. So many thanks to Ellie. We had quite a popular question in the chat window, and thanks to Ben who's popped it into Q&A, which is, how do you make sure that any content and courses put on IDEA is good quality, that it's accurate, that it's up to date? Do you have any kind of QA and oversight check within your processes?
Yes, so this is where the work with industry experts comes in. So I myself am not an expert on all things AI. We rely on our partners at Intel to help us to do that. So we go through many checks with them or whoever the other partner would be to make sure that what's on there is accurate and up to date. And then we also we go through various rounds of testing as well. So we have a wonderful cohort of students who are super engaged that we can reach out to say, do you want access to some early content, and provide feedback on that. And so again, we run focus groups, and then we also have a few other different industry experts or educators that can get involved in that process as well. Again, if that's something that you would like to get involved with helping us, then please do send us a message to either my email or the support email, and we can add you to our list. There's a quick survey that we can send out to help you to fill in so you can tell us how you might like to help.
Brilliant. And then Maria asks a follow-up question about, do you see any sort of bias that corporates try to work in when they're helping to develop the content? Or do you tend to work with chartered professions to reinforce certification? Or does it tend to be, you know, sort of a more altruistic piece of involvement from the corporate partners?
I think we're really lucky then with our corporate partners, because it does tend to be more altruistic. Occasionally we've run into situations where what we've been teaching about has required perhaps certain technology or a product that people could buy from that partner, but we have kind of very clear guidelines from the outset that say, you know, we're not here, this isn't affiliate marketing, we're not here to promote and get more sales for X, Y, and Z thing. So in some cases we create kind of a more generic simulated version of that experience so that our learners can still get to grips with the point of the learning rather than the actual specific technology or product itself. I hope that answers the question.
It's really helpful. And Evie asks a really interesting question, and it could be one of your future plans. Do you offer any tool for users to self-assess their own basic digital skills before they start to focus on skills that they might be lacking?
That is something that we've been thinking about and talking about quite a lot. It's not something that we have available just yet. Something that we have done recently with one of our newest badges. So we actually worked with St. John's Ambulance last year to create a badge all on first aid. And at the beginning of that badge, we asked people to rate their confidence with first aid, and then we do it again at the end of the badge. And that's been really helpful and interesting. So in helping us to measure the difference that we can make. And again, you know, I mentioned earlier on, I think that we were looking at creating and curating different pathways through the badges and the content that we have. And so that initial self-assessment could very well form a part of that. What we don't want to do is to make it something that would be mandatory and would slow down the initial stage of getting started, because really what we find is that the more kind of things we put in the way before people can get started, the more likely they are to not continue. And we find that if we can get somebody to do just one badge on idea and achieve it, the platform is really fun. It comes up with fireworks, it's congratulations, it boosts your confidence, makes you feel good about doing it. Once they've done that, they're more likely to carry on and keep doing more and more and more. So a lot to work out about where we put something like that in the platform, but that's a really good question. Thanks for asking it.
I think I absolutely agree though about keeping things simple. It's one of the amazing things that you sort of spot about sort of impulse buy websites, is that they put as few barriers as possible in between you spotting something you might want to buy and actually paying the money. And it feels to me like digital skills needs to be a bit like that. You think you might be interested in something you can crack straight on, but it is also that balance of sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and there's, you know, probably all sorts of interesting opportunities for people to actually be able to find that there's a skill that would be incredibly helpful to unlocking whatever their aspiration is. James asks whether any of the badges match up with particular curricular levels such as NVQs, SC, QF, etc. And then we also have a similar question from Will about whether any of the badges are recognised by industry and professional bodies.
So not really. I mean, we work kind of from level 2, level 1, level 2, probably as far as level 4, but we haven't done any kind of formal mapping into other different accreditations and frameworks. There is some work that we can share that some people that have been using IDEA have done that they've found useful within the settings that they're working in. Sorry, what was I've lost it now from Will.
Whether any of the badges are recognised by industry or professional bodies.
Yes, so not professional bodies as such, although we've been signposted to several times from organisations like City and Guilds. We have also, so they're recognised, the badges that we've created with specific partners are recognised by those specific partners, which is really, really great. So for example, the Intel badges on AI are recognised by Intel. We've got a badge on CRM that was created with Salesforce. That's recognised by Salesforce. So we kind of work in that way, very much more informal.
Amazing. And I'm just going to do one last quick question, which is from Deborah, whether you're working on any projects with care experienced young people or sort of including care leavers and so on. I imagine you're working with just about everybody, but
Yes, we have been, and we did some really helpful work with an organisation called Career Matters as well, who work to support care leavers. And I think Elizabeth, you may well know Hannah. We'd love to do more. So again, I'm not sure where you're writing from, the reasons behind that question, but please do reach out. Yeah, we're working with all sorts of people from all sorts of different backgrounds. And personally, yeah, I would really like to be doing more and all that we can to support care leavers.
amazing. Unfortunately, I always guarantee that we will finish our webinars on time. And many a time have I thought we should make our webinars at least 3 hours long so that we can get through all the questions that people have. But Polly, you've been absolutely fantastic. I hope that people will take a look at idea.org.uk, just as it sounds, idea.org.uk. Sign up, try a badge, advocate for it. It is an absolutely amazing system, and I'm a huge fan of Polly and everything that she's achieving over there. I know we've got a few people who are keen to get in touch about how they can become an industry leader, how they can potentially support the platform. So please do reach out to Polly. I'm sure that she'd be really glad to hear from you to take that forward. In terms of just a few calls to action from us, please do visit digitalpovertyalliance.org if you've enjoyed today's webinar. Maybe if you've not sort of taken a look at what we do before, please do have a visit, read our national delivery plan. This really sets out all of the missions that we feel are critical to end digital poverty once and for all by 2030. If you are particularly interested in some of the content from today, Mission 4 is all around how we grow digital skills, particularly those essential digital skills, which can unlock the power of the internet for the millions of people who don't actually have that knowledge and haven't had the opportunity to learn that yet. Finally, just once again, massive thanks to Polly for spending some time with us today, and a big thanks to our audience for being so engaged and asking so many questions. We'll see you all again soon. Take care.